So it would have to be the right thing. Things got to come together. There's a part of it that's me, part of it that's him, and there's part of it that's just God, making sure that that's the way things are going to go.
Yo, what's up guys? It's Marbletron here, back at it again with another video. So today's video is going to be pretty different than some of the other ones that I've done. This is going to be discussing some of the themes involved in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I feel are really important things that a lot of people haven't put much emphasis on. And I feel that it's really important, so this is why I felt compelled to make this video. And so if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 yet, and you don't want to be spoiled, I suggest to click off now and maybe come back later after you've watched it. And if you have seen it, feel free to stay. So I'm just going to go right into it. In the scene where Rocket is basically about to die and Star-Lord's there over him, he's kind of all over the place. He's trying to find a way to save him. It seems like he was going to die. I thought he was going to die at this point, but if you've seen the movie, you know that all of a sudden it cuts to Rocket in a heaven-like place, and it's him in this whiteness, and I want to point out the subtle, I think this is intentional imagery in this movie, where if you watch it, I've only watched it once, but I kind of picked up on this. I'm pretty sure this has got to be intentional, where they show Rocket, or even some of the other characters when involved with Rocket, they have this really bright white light on their face. And it's really like when the actors are like doing very emotional expressions. Like I remember seeing it for Mantis earlier on in the movie when Adam Warlock takes out Rocket. And also Star-Lord in that moment, he has that white light, and Rocket, when he's basically, it seems like he's about to die, he also has that bright white light on his face. And I think that kind of is all supposed to tie in to that heaven-like scene or scenario. When he's in heaven, he sees Lila, his other friends, and he's basically ready to go. And Lila tells him, no, it's not your time. And I was like, whoa. I'm like, he's not gonna die? And I'm like, wow. I'm like, what's going on here? And then he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, look at what they did to us. They just made us just to kill us. Something along those lines. Again, I've only seen this once. This video is completely unscripted, just off the cuff, by the way. Yeah, he's like, what, why? And then she's like, you have a greater purpose. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, whoa, like this is getting pretty serious. And I was surprised they were doing this and bringing this into this, kind of Disney Marvel movie. I'm like, wow. And then she continues on to say, she's like, well, it's not about our makers here, specifically in this world. It's about the one who guides our steps. And I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, they're referring to a real living God. And as you know, if you've seen the movie, the High Evolutionary has a God complex, which I completely, picked up on. He even refers to himself as God. And I also thought it was interesting when the High Evolutionary basically says that I'm God, so I stepped in. His people end up turning on him. And I really like that from James Gunn. It's a very sensitive topic these days to talk about God, or people just kind of shut it down whenever you want to, talk about religion, because of, the stuff that's going on in the world right now. And there's a lot of divide in that. And I like that he mentioned this and put it in this way, involving with Rocket too, because Rocket is really the heart and soul of this movie. And I think it's very brave on James Gunn's part to put it there. And I really appreciate that. And then, as you know, Rocket, he goes back and he has a greater purpose to serve. And I'm like, wow, this is really, really good stuff. And I was really happy to see it, honestly. And there's also other imagery within the movie, like Adam Warlock saving Star-Lord when they are about to touch fingers. It's supposed to be like the famous painting of Adam. And interestingly enough, it's Adam Warlock. Also really interesting, you know, talking about Adam, you know, specifically Christian, you know, biblical ties. This is really biblical here and kind of falling in line, you know, with biblical concepts. And I really appreciate that as a Christian. And I thought it was something that was worth mentioning because a lot of people, this is going to go over some people's heads, but, you know, this is real stuff, guys. And, you know, I just hope that people could take away from this, take that away, you know, that they do have greater purposes no matter what goes on, you know, in your life here. This isn't the end. A lot of people live in a very temporary mindset. A lot of people want instant gratification on things, social media, all this stuff. And, you know, I've fallen victim to that also. And I just think it's really interesting that they brought that up. And it's a good message because we should really try to fix our minds onto an eternal, you know, mindset in that way, because it's healthy. Because, you know, when you put things into a temporary perspective, like how most people are, like, oh, I got to do everything I can to, you know, I got to just live for me. You know, it's not healthy because, like, it's going to come at the expense of others. And we're really here, we're here for a relationship. And we're here to, you know, help each other in this broken world. And this movie obviously shows it's a broken world. You know, what happens to Rocket is completely tragic. But that's basically where I wanted to end this video. Sorry for that abrupt ending. My phone ran out of space. But I just hope that you guys can look more into this message that was presented in this film. And I think it's really important. And I just ultimately hope you guys learn more about Jesus, because he is the only way. And I don't do this to anger anyone or to cause divide. I'm doing this strictly just out of love, because I love people and I love you guys and I care for you guys, and all I want is the best for you guys. And I regret not being this transparent on certain things in the past, especially like on YouTube or on Instagram. But, you know, certain things recently have been occurring in my life where I feel very compelled to just express, you know, my faith and what God has really done in my life and what I've seen him do in other people's lives. And this is a really, you know, important message. And I'm glad it's in this movie, although it's not perfectly in line with what I believe. It's a good step in the right direction. But that's basically all I got to say. God bless.